Speaking of gators, there's this article that came out January 29th, 1934 in the LA Times.
I remember it vividly.
This article was called Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted Underneath Los Angeles, California.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Lizard people.
Yep, this lady, her name, she was a reporter, Jean Bosquet. And she wrote this article, 1934, about this man named G. Warren Schufelt. And he was a geologist and a engineer. And he had developed this new technology, this X-ray penetrating technology to where he could scan different rocks and stuff like underneath the ground, and it would come back of like, oh, this is what it is and stuff. Yeah. He was in LA on this hill called Fort Moore Hill, and he drilled like 200 something feet down, stuck it down, and he's like, what the heck? He's like, there's tunnels. And then he's like, then he kept on scanning different parts, and he's like, a lot of tunnels and really big rooms and a lot of gold.
Gold.
And he's just like, he didn't know. He's like, what the heck is this? And so he was telling someone about it, and they're like, you need to come meet someone. So he went to Arizona, and he met with this Hopi elder. So like the Hopi tribe.
Okay.
I probably said that wrong, but his name was Little Chief Greenleaf, which is kind of a cool name,
really
right?
Cool.
Greenleaf and Schufelt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these aren't real
Great
names.
Yeah, they're fake.
But this Hopi elder said, what you just discovered is one of 3 lost cities along the Pacific coast. And he told about, it was this people group called the Lizard People. And they weren't actual lizards, but they were called the Lizard People.
Why?
Because their idol was a lizard. Oh. And these tunnels, actually, this whole underground city was in the shape of a lizard. He scanned it out and stuff. Actually, I'll show you the...
Jeez.
This was in the newspaper. Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Not now.
Please help. Yeah, see that? I don't really see a lizard.
I see the head. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
See this? So he scanned out this entire tunnel system as much as he could. But this Hopi elder was like, this was a civilization that was 5,000, like they happened to dig these tunnels 5,000 years ago to escape these giant firestorms that were happening that were like killing everything.
Like dinosaurs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Dragons.
But he said they were so far advanced technology-wise that they had this chemical that they would use to basically bore out the tunnels. So they didn't use shovels and picks. They would bore out these tunnels using chemicals that they had created, basically liquefying the rock.
Yeah.
And the tunnels start at the ocean. And they used it to where they would bore it out and it would drain into the ocean. And so he said they were so technologically advanced, and they had certain rooms where they would like store their foods, and like he said there's some rooms, this is like what the folklore is from the Hopi tribe, that some of these rooms could house thousands of people.
Yeah.
And this is the guy's like, I've found
I believe
this
it.
labyrinth of, and so he's not like, oh yeah, this is what it is, but he's like, keep telling me more about this civilization and stuff. And he says, we've always been called to look for these lost cities because of history that is actually written down that would be in these cities. He described the Lizard People's city being amongst these certain hills that exactly line up to where this guy found the thing.
Wow. So it was just a confirmation of everything he was discovering.
Mm-hmm. And what's a bummer is the article is like 2 pages. Nothing else came from it.
What happened to Schufelt?
He tried to ask LA if he could start exploring more and more, digging deeper down, and they shut him down.
No. But guess who's down there now?
LA.
Elon. SpaceX.
Oh yeah.
They're working in the tunnels too.
The Boring Company's tunnel?
Oh yeah, in LA.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, they're doing car, like for Teslas and stuff like that. They're doing car tunnels already.
You know what's so crazy about
But it was
that?
like
Is
a flop.
They probably wanted the gold, right?
Yeah.
The
Flop.
LA did.
Yeah.
That'd be the perfect cover up
That's
to
what
why
I'm
they need to
saying.
go
Hold on.
down there.
Wait a second.
What we doing something here?
Let's go down this path real quick. Okay. If there's written records
Right.
of these people that were highly technologically advanced, we get someone like Elon Musk being like, "Hey, I'm just going to start digging tunnels to drive through,"
Yeah.
and then he starts coming out with newer and newer technology like Neuralink and
Chemical engineering.
and all that stuff.
Elon.
Did Elon find the lizard people's golden tablets that have written knowledge on them?
Is he the Lizard King?
Oh,
You know what I heard? Whenever they were making those tunnels down there, they used tiles to build like the walls and the flooring and stuff. Guess what kind of tiles? Reptiles.
Hey. Oh.
Where
connecting.
in LA is it? Does it say?
It said he first discovered it on Fort Moore Hill, which is actually the birthplace of modern day LA.
Really?
Yeah, they call it Fort Moore Hill because when the U.S. was taking over California away from the Mexicans,
Manifest Destiny.
sure, the fort was like their main fort, like where this big battle happened between the Mexicans and the U.S.
Yeah.
and they won, and so that was the beginning of L.A.
Weird.
Yeah, and it just
Interesting.
so
A lot of
happened
history
to be
there.
above the
Yeah.
one of the main entrances.
Got it.
Insurances. But yeah, so they
Super weird.
They lived in
Yeah.
these tunnels because another firestorm came, and so they lived under there for a really long time.
Yeah.
And it said that this firestorm that came was hundreds of miles wide.
Yeah.
So it's like, was it a meteor? Like, was
Yeah,
it
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
a
just look.
volcano? I don't know.
I mean, look at New York, dude. How they just built on top of New York. You know, the Göbekli. Like they have all that. Like everything was covered up, and then you just build stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, that could have been the place to live back then, but who knows how it just got stacked on top of each other, and how does that work? That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
I'm so proud of you for saying that.
Go Beckley.
Yep.
You know what I just connected in my head?
What?
Do you remember when the Bene Gesserit woman says to the emperor's daughter, "We are not ready for the power of the wobble thing"? And earlier, Jessica is talking to her baby in utero, and she says the wobble will be born in the South.
What are you saying?
Anya Taylor-Joy is the power that the Bene Gesserit is not prepared for.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's a lot.
What? How would that have to do
I
anything
don't
with
know. I was
this?
just thinking about it.
Oh.
We were watching it
LA
last night.
celebrities.
Well,
Yeah,
you're-
celebrities.
She's
But-
there.
Okay, so talking about like all that stuff, and I'm sure there's so many circumstances where there are tunnels like underneath civilizations like all over the planet. But you have this belief that Satan resides over LA,
I do,
like that's just
or
where
at
he's-
least some entity.
yeah,
I don't know.
like in particular because we've seen so many like, and I think that's just a world maybe, but like strong believers moving to LA and then becoming like the opposite, you know?
Well, it's just like from what they've seen, like, you know, it's just toxic, and it's just so self-centered that
Yeah.
that whole culture is, and so it's got to be tough to not.
Fall
not
into
not
that.
the whole,
Bleed into
yeah,
it a
like the
little bit.
Hollywood scene is.
But maybe
Yeah.
it's like a demonic cave.
It could be, but I have another connection to this story. That I was watching this video. This guy, I've talked about him before. His YouTube is Mr. Mythos.
Okay.
Genius of a dude, and like his videos are great. Go watch his videos. But I was watching one. It was the one I was watching about giants. Remember I talked about the giants of South America and stuff.
Yep.
There's a story that's like halfway through that video to where this boy in 1544, his name was Diego Duran. He was 7 years old, and he moved with his family from Spain to Mexico, and he lived amongst the Aztecs. And the Aztecs just kind of like took him in, and they taught him their language, the Aztec language, and they taught him how to read the hieroglyphics and stuff like that for the purpose of preserving their history when they were gone.
Yeah.
and they like really trusted him. And so he spent 30 years reading and hearing all these stories of the Aztecs. And like he wrote it down in a book. I forget the book name. I didn't write it down. But the Aztecs talked about before the Aztecs were there, giants roamed the land.
Wow.
And these giants, they said, were created by a god. And but these giants, they were created by a god, but they opposed another god.
Oh my gosh.
And so there's different timelines of these giants and the Aztecs and stuff. It's called like the first sun, second sun, third sun. But like these time frames. And like 3 or 4 times this god tried to, or like kill all the giants.
Yeah.
And one of the first times that he tried to kill them was by sending fire from the sky.
Wow.
And then the second one, so fire from the sky, it killed almost everything, but a few giants survived, and they started building again. And then a second fire happened, and still a few giants survived. And then they say that this god ended up flooding the whole earth to kill these giants. And so when he flooded the whole earth, there was one giant that they actually have a statue of this giant in modern day Mexico. He survived with his siblings. And what they did right after that flood was they're like, we're going to build a giant pyramid so if it ever floods again, we can escape it. And so this pyramid that they built was called the Great Pyramid of Cholula. Yeah,
The
Cholula.
hot sauce?
I think so.
The hot sauce made this pyramid?
Cholula. But that pyramid is actually the largest pyramid on Earth volume-wise. Huge.
Really?
Yeah. And this pyramid is, they say it's one of 6 pyramids that were built on top of each other. And they've only been able to get down to 3 of them. But with the scans, these pyramids are just literally built on top of each other. So, I mean, like, we're talking a massive, massive
Yeah.
Tower of Babel-like thing.
Yeah.
Tower of Babel happened after the flood. And these
Interesting.
giants built this pyramid to escape the flood after the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was super interesting. But then it talks about how the Aztec people came in and they drove the giants further north, i.e. California
Yeah.
and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wild.
But the
'cause
connection of like the lizard people escaping this fire but being technologically advanced.
Yeah.
And then these giants also escaping the fire or surviving from the fire and stuff.
That's an interesting theory. I dig
Yeah.
that, dude. That's fun. That's weird, man. All those connected ancient civilizations are just,
Yeah.
there's got to be some type of connection. You can't be that close without it. Like there's so much history you probably have no idea on.
Yeah. Also, it's like everything we've read about from giants being seen today.
Yeah.
They all live in cave systems.
Mm-hmm.
So like they dig a cave in LA, live in the caves.
Yeah.
Do they still live in the caves?
I don't know.
And that's why they haven't opened the thing.
So, Elon Musk underneath LA, you said that this lizard people, whatever map that was found, centers on Fort Moore Hill.
Yeah.
And so, let me show you these 2 pictures. This is a photo of Elon Musk's Boring Company tunnel plans. Okay.
Okay.
There's a hub up here where it says Dodgers Stadium.
It went away.
Oh, my bad. There's a hub. You see that Dodger Stadium,
Yeah.
right? This is Dodger Stadium to the hill.
So very close to the hill.
Literally, there is a hub. Boring Company's tunnel literally is directly in the same location
Wow.
as the lizard people tunnels.
How much of the tunnels have they already dug out?
I know.
Sure.
Apparently he got shut down on building some more.
Yeah.
Because he tried to get some more, but they shut him down on it. So I don't know.
I'm assuming it's this probably just the pink line from West LA down to LAX. But his plans literally originate or go up and have a hub
Yeah.
exactly in the same spot as that map.
That's interesting.
That's crazy.
What have you found, Elon? Talk about it.
Elon, please come on.
It's kind of sad for this guy, the G. Warren Shufelt, of like, he's not saying he's like, oh, these are lizard people or like that's like this ancient civilization. He's just like, I found this tunnel system, and then this guy from the Hopi tribe is basically saying everything that I found. So he's like, he's just a dude that
Stating
found
facts.
a thing.
Yeah.
But he was labeled like a kook and like,
Nutso.
yeah.
Count it off, dude.
And there's no other history about him that I could find.
Hey.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know.
He went on to make felt shoes.
And that's
what he's
where
known
it
for.
started. That's where it started. And he just became actually an orthopedic surgeon just to feel shoes. Feel people where people put on shoes. Their feet. I don't know. Trying to come up with something.
It's wild. But that kid, Diego, that was living amongst the Aztecs, he wrote in his book, he's like, there's still giants alive. He's like, I've met one.
Ew.
And like,
Do they
he's
have
like,
language?
huh?
Do they have like language and stuff?
Yeah.
Because when we talked about that story about like the tribe that was like killing them, they were sewing the hair into their dresses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They sounded like inbred and like cannibally and like.
Yeah. I think there's probably different types of giants. Yeah.
Like barbaric.
That is kind of weird though to think about that story about
I know.
the red-haired giants in Nevada, and these
Yeah, right
giants
down the road.
from Mexico were driven out
Yeah.
of modern-day Mexico up north, and
Yeah.
that's where we have these red-haired giants in
Lovelock Cave.
Lovelock Cave.
Wait, we're connecting a lot of dots over here.
Connection.
Do what you will.
That's crazy though, right?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a fun story.
That came out in the 30s, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Makes you wonder.
It makes you wonder.
There's got to be answered. There's got to be something more to it. There has to be.
That's weird.